Okay, welcome back to the channel, and here we go again. Today is election day here in the great USA, and there are some things going on at the polling places you may or may not know about. So, up in Georgia, the Georgia State Secretary of State blamed polling place bomb threat on Russia. All right, so that sound familiar? Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, often criticized for his rhino tendencies, has pointed finger at Russia after bomb threats were reported at two polling stations. Raffensperger claimed the threats were traced back to Russia and that they were deemed not credible. On Tuesday, Raffensperger announced that the bomb threat that had been made against the polling place alleged traced back to Russian origin. So we're going to listen to a quick little interview that he did about these bomb threats.
Threats at polling places that we've heard about, one bomb threat. Have you heard any other verifiable threats at any polling places?
We've heard some threats that were of Russian origin, and so I don't know how to describe if that's viable. We don't think they are, but in the interest of public safety, you always check that out, and we'll just continue to be very responsive when we hear about stuff like that. We identified the source, and it was from Russia.
Can you elaborate on that? What kind of threats?
As he said, it's a bomb threat.
So, Russia, and you're confident of the Russians did it?
Yeah, just like we had the DDoS attack on Monday, October 14th, 420,000, pings, denial of service from Russians. So we added that interface that said, I am a human, I'm not a robot. So they're up to no mischief, it seems, and they don't want us to have a smooth, fair, and accurate election. And anything they can get us to fight among ourselves, they can count that as a victory. So that tells you a little bit about the Russians. They're not our friends. Anyone that thinks they are hasn't been reading the newspapers.
Okay, so that's what he said about the bomb threats that was said of Russian origin. But he said what he's not saying. However, the Secretary of State comments left more questions than answers. As specific bomb threat Raffensperger reference remains unclear. In reality, the Department of Justice reported that a Georgia poll worker, not Russian, but a Georgia poll worker, was responsible for an election-related bomb threat just ahead of the election. The DOJ revealed that Nicholas Wimbish, a 25-year-old poll worker from Mill Edgeville, Georgia, was arrested after allegedly mailing a threatening letter to the Jones County election superintendent. The letter, which warned of a harm to poll workers, was sent following a verbal altercation Wimbish had with a voter on October 16th at the Jones County election office. So now we want to talk about another issue that's going on with voting. So here we go right here. Harris County Clerk issued a statement after early voters shift mysteriously favored Democrats claim it was an error or accident. Oops, wonder how that happened. And yet another accidental discrepancy benefiting Democrats. Harris County Clerk announced on Monday that early voting turnout numbers in Texas, Harris County, might be inaccurate due to a formatting issue with the tracing spreadsheet. The news has sparked outrage from Republicans, who have said this is yet another lagging series of coincidence, glitches, and accidents that has been to lean to one political direction. A candidate for Senate District 15 took the social media platform to air his grievances. The candidate says Harris County Central Count must have had some kind of secret device that they use to remove 2,000 to 3,000 votes a day from HCC South Loop and remove them to Kashmir every day of early voting after the fact. This is merely one of the many astonishing feats overcoming the limitation of time and space physics Rodney Ellis' teams had been able to achieve. So now we want to talk about another issue that's going on with voting. And this is described by the media group, O'Keefe Media Group, undercover Philadelphia City Commission office tells non-citizens that they can vote if they are Philly residents. So now we're telling non-citizens, non-U.S. citizens, they can vote if they are Philly residents. Let that one sink in. Okay, so James O'Keefe strikes again. The Philadelphia City Commission office was caught on undercover video telling non-citizens they can vote if they are Philly residents. This is why the Biden-Harris regime has flooded the U.S. with nearly 20 million legal aliens. I believe that number is higher than 20 million, but we're going to just go with that number. So a non-governmental organization, SIBA, was caught telling non-citizens that they can vote if they have a ITIN number. They are telling people that all you need is what is called an ITIN number and that you can vote if you're not a citizen of the United States. So let's listen to this quick video.
James O'Keefe here in North Philadelphia on 5th Street. Right here is the Philadelphia City Commissioner's office the day before Election Day, and across the street is an NGO called SAIBA. That's SAIBA, and they are telling people to vote. They are telling people that all you need is what's called a TIN number. That's ITIN number, and you can vote if you're not a citizen of the United States. So we sent an undercover reporter to this NGO right across from the place where people are early voting, and she got confirmation that yes, in fact, she can vote with nothing but an ITIN number.
Yo sí puedo votar, aunque no sea residente ni ciudadana. Sí.
And then we went into the city commissioner's office to speak to the man who works there, working for the city government, confirming that you only need to be a resident of Philadelphia.
But when I say resident, that means of the entire United States. But you're just worried about Philadelphia. Oh, you don't care about anything else. You just want them to have a resident of Philadelphia. After that, you confirm that you register. Whether you have a social security number or not, you can vote.
Obviously, it's extremely loud here. Music is very loud. So we're going to go ahead and walk across the street and talk to these people. Hello!
Okay, so listen, you don't need a social security number. You may not have to show proof of residency, but you have this ITIN number, which is a 9-digit number issued by the Internal Revenue Service for individuals who are required to file a tax return but do not qualify for a social security number. They said you can vote. So that's one other voting issue going on. So, but we're going to go to another story here. So, BLM leader announces he's voting for Donald Trump and warned that Kamala Harris' victory will be a disaster for the country. Mark Fisher, a co-founder of the Rhode Island chapter of Black Lives Matter, announced his support for Donald Trump, warning that Kamala Harris' presidency could spell disaster for the nation. Fisher was a lifelong Democrat, but became disgusted and detached from the party because he saw the light. The Gateway Pundit previously reported that Fisher had been a strong supporter of the J6 prisoners prosecuted by the Biden regime. He even helped lead a nation prayer outside the E. Bennett Pettyman Courthouse in D.C. last year to protest the sentencing of the Proud Boys. Last year, he decided the best way to send a message was to support Donald Trump, the man responsible for creating the most prosperity for minority voters in America. Okay, so these are just a few things that's going on with the election today that you may or may have not heard about. Okay, if you like it, leave a comment, share, subscribe, and thank you, and have a great day.